Hey. Oh, good Lord. I'm on live. How about that one? What's going on, fellow zombies out there? Live and still sleepwalking? Yeah, it's only 10:40 in the morning for a smoky Tuesday, September 10th, 2024. And yeah, it's a rare thing I can actually go on here doing the diary of Griever named John Weaver, which would be me. Hi, guys. Shout out to the Reverend Ed Trevors out there. Shout out to the Artists of Recovery, to the Young Turks, to the Minority Report, uh, all the independents out there, and everybody else. What's going on, guys? This is basically covering my keister for this morning. Um, Something happened, and if you guys been following my channel, you'd realize that, yeah, because I do this grieving channel, I do have a lot of emotional situations, a lot of emotional issues, and I also talk about other things I observed and still watching at this point. That if I happen to skip one particular therapy appointment, and if I happen to make the shot off there, I would have a therapist in extreme kindness would be contacting the local sheriff's department to do a health and welfare check on me. This morning I had an 8 o'clock appointment, and I waited for my therapist. I waited for about half an hour, and usually she does the Zoom. Now, once in a great while, she will forget. Things will happen. I understand that. But if there is some kind of misunderstanding, well, if there is a misunderstanding at this point, what else am I supposed to say or do about this one? Wait until nearly the appointment's already done, but I'll wait about half an hour. Normally, she'd be calling on the phone. She'd be calling on this particular phone right here. And she would call me and tell me what's going on or text me. Nothing. So I am worried about my therapist at this point. I'm also covering my bases here to explain to the public, just in case I happen to get any on the ground, or actually on the wall, was a doorbell going ding dong, sheriff's department. But that hasn't happened yet. But I'm waiting for it to happen. I'm just covering my bases here because I wanted to tell the sheriff's department, look, guys, I know what's going on here, and to be honest about something here, I'm covering my bases. You guys didn't happen to notice a little bit of a change in the background, did you? Not much of a change? Okay, well, that's for some people, it may look at a change that way, and it may scare the living daylights out of them. But as of this moment, being October, actually being September 10th, 2024, and it's 10:43 in the morning, some backups are being utilized right now. And you still didn't utilize the where's salad? You didn't notice what's happening with the cabinet, did you? Been watching the channel long enough, you'd see something to grab someone's attention, possibly. It may be just less obvious. Okay, never mind about that one. Okay, so to shout out to the Reverend, yes, I am fine this morning. Past few days was a bit of a emotional stress case. Dealing with anniversaries, as I was trying to talk about in my videos. Some of them actually got it under the wind files because I hadn't been bothering myself to put them on regular, and had to explain things, what's going on in my life. I'm also let me explain to my therapist concerning about how this particular year, this particular summer fire season has become an emotional wrecker. How many fires we got going on in Angeles Forest, San Bernardino area? Yeah, that many. I've got one screen over here doing video. I got the other doing a live stream over here. I'm also doing audio recordings just to cover bases. Why? Because I am covering my bases here. And on one of the screens, I've been trying to keep track of the fire that is being reported left and right. And it's a lot of acreage seeing going up. Now, in some of my videos, I tried to talk about my fear of fire. There's a lot of people up in hills, actually in the mountains, that are getting the warning of getting the hell out of there. Fire is nothing to contend with, especially when we have unstable weather patterns happening that move the air currents, forcing the fire to move in one direction or another direction. And if they've got enough Fokks check in different areas, they can prevent or try to prevent fires from happening or fire continuation its march on residential homes. The rest of the place, they can just get it burned a bit. Forests will regrow in about 20 years approximate, I think. Because sometimes I see that happening. Growth starts beginning, and then within 5 years after that, I start to see the greens at the top, but still char on the bottom. So we're all right on that. Other things have been happening. I've been keeping track of Rancho Palos Verdes. As I expected, and I'm no geologist, never had been, but a little love of science at this point. I'm waiting for my dog to, she's having a conniption fit. Come here, babe. I was expecting more problems concerning about the, come here, honey. Come here. Mamas. Hey, you know me. Come here. She wants me. Okay, I ain't getting you yet. I got a stubborn dog right now. I shall be one in a few seconds. I'm still expecting, maybe within this year or another year, that maybe Rancho will be going into the ocean, depending on how fast that slide is going still. I haven't heard anything. I haven't seen anything popping up on the news, whether or not if the uh, anybody of experts are going to be getting water out of the ground. Any of the hydrographers are going to be, draining off the water so they can try to stabilize the ground. All I keep hearing is utility companies and entertainment companies pulling out, shutting off a lot of services. In fact, they're saying indirectly with action, move, get out. The pictures that they kept showing are devastating enough anyway. The pictures that they would have on Google search, they would show the still pictures of it, but on their map, it doesn't. It's not uploaded enough. So I couldn't show that information to you. I would show you and direct you on what areas that they would have. I can do that. And it's still terrifying because after I've looked at the information they've been producing, showing to the public on it, I was hoping maybe Google would have that information available. If not on their own still pictures, but putting it on the map so everyone else could take a look to see what's going on. Google Earth may help me out a little bit, but it doesn't show that much on the activity. I know it's an old program, but what can I say? The thing still works. So if I can redirect you lovely folks to the maps of the Google and type out Rancho Palos Verdes while I maneuver my own maps over to that area. There we go. Here we are. Little stubby foot out there that's part of the LAX in the harbor area, surrounded it. Scrolling up to looking at the territory, I'm looking at the two teeth sticking out of it, the bowl-shaped area of the peninsula there. And this is basically in that bowl-shaped area is that they are having the ground swells and the ground cracking and shifting of the earth. As a student looking at a geology course in action here, it's fascinating and horrifying. Because I'd seen in what still pictures that they'd have of certain ground cracking in the area. I don't know if I get to the area where it's actually showing more damage. That's what I'm looking for. Because they're telling me in their press conferences that the, what was the penguin man? The Portuguese Bend area. That there are certain damaged streets out in that territory. But I said before, the Google Maps are not updated enough on that one. If they were, I'd be able to see them a lot more clearly in detail and to see just how much the ground has shifted. It's too bad that they couldn't keep this thing up to date and up to speed. It's like every 6 months to a year, they would update it. Show part of the peninsula going into the water. I think it would be tragic. It's good for navigation if you want to look at things. Well, looking at updated stuff, you'll have to take a look at the pictures that they would show the damages area. But they really don't put any of the street names on there for you to see what exactly they're talking about. It would take a trained geologist's eye, which I don't have. I haven't been in the field long enough for it. But a few things do jump out every once in a while that would scare the living crap out of me. Such as if we have any mini landslides, shifting of the soil, shifting of the ground. Are you coming over here finally? Thank you. Come here. I'll put you on camera. Yeah, come here, fuss budget. No. She is not a landslide. She is my dog, and she is a fuss budget. She's the mama's blind, deaf, about 20, 21 years old. She's still got life left in her. But because of her situation right now, I don't dare leave her home. I don't leave her alone. That being said, so I'm here doing the 24/7 on her, at least for a semester or two. She is the emotional support. She is my family member. Has been in the family for most of her life. She had been Mama's, she had been David's, now she's mine. Okay, honey? Yeah. Don't be that way about honey. Put you down. If she happens to start whining, then she'll be wanting my attention again. I know, honey. I know. I got into geology a little bit because I thought it was going to be a fun science in a college, but really I needed to find out what earthquakes are all about. When we had the 71 earthquake, and I was at knee high to a duck or even smaller than that, scared the living crap out of me. And then earthquakes about 20 years or less than that, 20 years after that. I needed to find out what was going on, so I took courses at college. I came out of high school. Learned about them, experienced them more, discovered I hate them. And a few geologists were having a field day over it because of the results that they would deliver. But for this kid, I wasn't about to take that kind of hint. So I said, no, thank you. No, thank you. Not about to deal with that one, thank you very much. Besides, it scared the living daylights of me anyway. And that being said, I got into space, and I missed out the launch this morning. I missed it. SpaceX was launching another Dragon ship up there. Okay. Remember that geology pictures I was telling and griping about? Found one. Bow and tie. Okay. So I'm going to see if I can direct you on this one here because this is going to be not of people's homes crashing here, but this is a part of a landslide situation that I thought you guys might be interested in. Okay, I need to get my bearings. I know the street name is the Palos Verdes Drive South. Let me see where my. Okay. What are the side things? The right portion of it. Let's see. That was the. Okay, call it the right fang in Sacred Cove. You see the curve of the road there following you. You've got Sacred Cove Beach and you've got Sacred Cove Archery Club. And you see the Palos Verdes Drive, right? Keep scrolling until you see the place going right across the screen. Slowly enough. Because what I'm looking for is a side street. If you happen to see the small curve of a road going like that, called the Bow and Arrow Trail. It's a small trail. But granted, this particular trail you probably want to watch. So if you see this off the Palos Verdes and you see the curve going around, follow it to the beach. Slowly. When you get to the water, tell me what you see when it gets close to the beach head. I'll wait. Haven't seen it? Get a close up of it. When it gets closer to the water, you see anything weird about it? What happened to the road that was right next to the beach? Yeah, there's some kind of smudge down there. It looks like material, land material. What do you think? Get a closer view on that one. Oh, well, could be something. Could be wind blown, maybe. Unusual things that I would say is if I'm seeing any ground collapsing or anything collapsing on somewhere else, that's what I look for. I look for landslides. I look for could have been beach blown area. You probably would say could be, could be, could be. But then again, if I happen to see any ground cracking or freaking out because of certain streets in the area, then it does give me concern. See, the overhead view that they would have in certain streets, like Pepper Tree Lane, that's on the west side. That's on the left fang going up trails here. Pepper Tree Lane. Is that Pepper Tree Lane? It's Pepper Tree Drive. Ouch. Pepper Tree Drive. I'm so wonderful when it comes down for navigation. Anyway, old enough pictures, several months old, when Google was doing their updating on this thing. But there are portions that would pop up that I had to dig through this thing to find out exactly which particular pictures and which particular areas I'm looking at when it came down for, oh, let's say, deformation of ground or any collapsing material, soil, streets, parking lots, in that area. Stuff that would make people have a conniption fit over. The graphics are not very nice on this one. They're not sharp enough. But I tried to do videos to explain all of this to people. You just have to look at it visually to take a look to see what's going on. Why would this scare me? Why would this concern me? Oh, because the geology out there is it's a natural formation of things happening, but put man involvement such as not draining the area correctly or enough to where water table is getting increased and enough water in the table would have a slip and slide effect, as I call it. Got layer material. You got material up here. You got your housing. You got your streets. You got your infrastructures. Add enough water into the table, it becomes liquidy a bit. So if there's any force of pressure happening, such as like a downward slope, then gravity takes over and then slowly but surely. But if there's another plate underneath that they didn't realize going a hell of a lot faster, and because they've got more water than the top portion of here does. So it's making things in its own creep. And I haven't heard if the rate has already increased on any further than it already has. And we're getting houses still with more structural damage. In this bowl shaped area of Rancho, I mean, I can see it as I'm looking at the overhead because I'm looking at the houses in a like a dome shape, and I'm seeing canyons above it, which means there are drainage canyons, and so the water going into the ocean, the drain was just sucked right into it. You ever had that plastic sheet ride called slip and slide? Yeah, how was your butt after that one? Fun? Really wasn't fun. I don't know how many bruises and bumps I had over the damn thing. KTLA Channel 5 has been talking about, switching topics here, back to fire. Right now, they're talking about still live evacuations happening, trying to get animals and people away from the airport fire out in Orange County. Zero containment, and they got about 8,500 acres going on. See, this is the kind of year that I wish I could sleep through it because I don't want to know about the damn fires, but it's happening out there. Okay, geology. Did we cover space again? So, getting onto the topic of space, Polaris was supposed to have been launching up from SpaceX out in Canaveral, and this had four-man crew on it. This is going to be the first commercial spacewalk. The commercial spacewalk is basically seeing how people are going to be reacting and if there's enough safety factors into it. If they've got any NASA people over there who have actually done spacewalk and they would have been the technical advisors to this particular crew. And that material and that knowledge base, that experience would be transferred to other people. And this is going to be a test case. They already launched several hours ago. I missed it. I was sleeping through it again. They launched so early in the morning to get a window going. I don't know if they're going to be. They may be docking with the International Space Station later on, but they're also going to be doing a spacewalk. I don't know if it's going to be from the capsule or from the ISS. It would be safer if they did it from the ISS, but they got to catch up to it first to do that. They don't have a bliss pack. They don't have a life support pack that I had seen, only the suits. If it's going to be an emergency enough, I hope so. But if it's going to be thick enough, that's the thing. Because you are talking about uh, particles going fast, very fast in space, without any kind of density to or gravity to stop them or slow them down. Particles will just speed through space because of inertia. They worried about that when they started discovering more about that one out in space during between Gemini and Apollo missions. Skylab mission was just inside. They didn't have any penetrations because the skin was thick enough on an old Saturn. But they were also worrying about the penetrations happening with the space shuttle as well. So now they have to worry about it on the ISS. If there is going to be any kind of particles happening, they don't want to be anywhere near the damn stuff. But going out in space is still hazardous. You're dealing with a vacuum that'll suck everything else out of you. Try this one. You got those old-fashioned vacuum machines? I'm not talking about the one sucking up things on the floor. Food vacs. 80s, 90s, 2000s, hottest damn thing out there. Suck up all the oxygen out of it, put it in your freezers or anything else that you want to have storage. Well, that's basically what space is doing, is sucking everything else out of you until there's nothing left in it. You want to do an old-fashioned routine on the thing, you'll still have some oxygen limited in it. Take a Ziploc bag with a straw in it and start sucking out the air. It could be an empty bag, be easier on you. And you keep sucking, you see it, and you keep sucking, and it gets harder and harder, doesn't it? Because you're sucking out all the oxygen molecules out of the bag until it's just nothing left. And you have to be quick enough to seal it real fast. Otherwise, you're going to be still increasing the oxygen level in there somehow. Backflow. And too many times about that one. So civilians in the civilian crafts that they've been going up into space and coming back down, they experience maybe a few seconds of maybe about a minute or two, and they're like, "Wow, this is the environment itself that they're going to be walking themselves into." They want to see if a commercial aircraft and its passengers can actually do this. That's one thing. If they open up the door and watch everything else get blasted out, they don't want to do that. Too much of a safety hazard. It's scary as hell too, because I'd be seeing that happening, and so would the world. They're going to be doing this, not secretly on the slide. They want to get publicity on this one. Elon Musk wants to get publicity for this one. Yeah, Brett's got 3,000. I got to keep track of this on the Cal Fire incident. I'm trying to keep my head moving on different topics here without me going nuts at this point. But getting back into space, all space walks I know of are from when the United States did their own space program. We get into the space shuttle. They were walking around in the cargo bay, but they also had tubes going in and out, and they were docked up at the International Space Station. That's when they would have spacewalking. Apollo, they did a couple in Earth orbit, and on the moon, you had to get out of spacecraft to walk on the moon. Gemini was if you can actually leave, and you actually had somebody else on board watching things, making sure. I hope all these civilians that they've got launching up or actually in space understand the risks of this. It's dangerous, exciting, and space is deadly. How much precautions do you do when you're doing deep diving or actually diving? You always have a buddy system, right? Well, we're hoping they got a buddy system going out for this one, because I hate to hear of one person dying out in space because of a spacewalk. I hate to jinx it. I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to even think about it because if it happens, then it's going to be putting commercial spacewalking. That's going to be tabling it for a long while until they have investigations over the thing. But this is saying if it happens, if it doesn't happen, then we should be all right. Fine. Okay. That being said, since it's about about that, I just wanted to do a short feed on this one just to get things on a record here in case I haven't to get any boom, boom, boom. Sheriff's Department. You want live in there? No, I'm not. I'm a filament of people's imaginations. I'm a zombie. Hey, I just have a laugh over here. That being said, I'll do my regular videos just to get things going. Use up a flash drives and do what I got to do. But this is just keeping track and keeping in contact with the family. You guys out there, hopefully, somebody watches this thing and sees a rambling guy with a lot of fur in his face. That's me. So I will bid adieu to you and you and you. Not you over there. You're just there. But me, I don't know about you over there. Oh, that person over there. That person over there. Oh, good Lord, they're coming out of the woodworks. That's it. I'm out of here.